Your grocery bill could climb even higher in the coming year, despite inflation slowing to a crawl. That's the headline from the annual food price report out today. It's published by a group of universities that include Dalhousie, Guelph, UBC, and the University of Saskatchewan. CBC's Scott Peterson tells us how much more families will have to pay.
Considerable amount more, considering that inflation, as you mentioned, is sort of cooling. We're expecting it to cool further next year, but we're seeing grocery prices increasing proportionally, and the average family of four expected to spend about another $800 for basically the same basket of groceries. That takes the average total to well over $16,000 for a family of four, and that's an increase of anywhere between 3 and 5%. And when you look at food inflation right now, it's at 2.8%, and so that's considerable acceleration for where it is now. Inflation next year is expected to be somewhere around the 2% mark, so this shows you how much more we're paying for food. So some of the items in particular are expected to get more expensive. Bakery and dairy goods up anywhere between 2 and 4%. Meat 4 to 6% more expensive than it is this year. Fruit anywhere between 1 and 3%, and vegetables 3 to 5% more. And there's a few different reasons why this is. One, the Canadian dollar is a lot lower than it was this time last year, so we're not getting the buying power. And like it or not, we get a lot of our produce from the United States. Also, there's a lot of uncertainty with the incoming U.S. administration. But the third that the report points out as well is that the food production in this country, whether it's grain or farming or meat or dairy, is controlled by so few companies, and a lot of those companies are multinational or from the U.S., and so that means that Canadians have very little say over our own food supply. So this is quite worrying, and the report goes on to say this is the reason why we're seeing food bank increases 90% since pre-pandemic, and a lot of other food insecurity that is rising amongst Canadian families.